Welcome to Kelly Minds Her Manners, a podcast about real estate and entrepreneurship with a twist. Here's your host, Kelly Robinson.
Hey everyone. Today's guest is Christina Flach, a celebrity makeup artist and the CEO and founder of Pretty Girl Makeup. Her celebrity clientele include Condoleezza Rice, Hilary Swank, Isaiah Washington, Melissa McCarthy, Rita Moreno, Renee Zellweger, Tyler Florence, and more. She has worked with high-end brands including Gucci and Louis Vuitton. She has been featured in campaigns for Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, and you name it. She's been featured in Vogue, Time, People, and Elle. In addition, she also writes articles about the best makeup tips, tricks, and hacks, and is featured regularly as a beauty expert on California Live on NBC. In addition to Christina's career, she is a devoted mother of 5, a philanthropist, actively raising funds and awareness for sepsis. She also started the Bo Friedman Outdoor Classroom at the Edna McGuire School in Mill Valley, California, raising money for the Baby Bo and Ken Flach educational funds at the Northern Light School in Oakland, California. Christina uses her platform to promote the importance of feeling beautiful from the inside out. She inspires women to be the best version of themselves and overcome life's greatest obstacles, which she has definitely had some obstacles and tragedies in her life, yet she continues to be a super mom, a super entrepreneur, and a beauty expert extraordinaire. And this is a fun show. It's not just for women. So you guys keep listening. And she will, at the end, answer some of our audience questions, as well as my Not So Fast 5, which she gets 2 passes for. So she has to at least answer 3. Does she answer them all? We'll have to see. Please welcome Christina Flach. Christina, it is so great to finally have you on Kelly Minds Her Manners. I've been dying to ask you so many questions.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Yeah. And now I finally have you. So I have, I know I've read a lot about you and I've heard about you before, we agreed to do this podcast, and I have so many questions for you. It just seems like you have such an interesting journey and you juggle so many different things, including being a mom. Is it 4 or 5 kids?
5.
You have 5 kids.
Yes.
I mean, you're like Superwoman. You're an entrepreneur. You juggle being a mom of 5 kids. You're a philanthropist. You're a makeup artist to celebrities and TV personalities and, athletes and all sorts of different people. You've been featured in, the top magazines in the world, Vogue, right? Elle, and some of the other ones. And you're also a regular beauty expert on NBC. I mean, how do you do it all?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't feel like I do enough. I just try to use my time wisely and organize my time. It's hard sometimes, but everything seems to get done. And every day is different. Being a makeup artist, I'm on set. Today I'm home in my office working on, my new company. I'm Too Busy and Pretty Girl and writing, different articles and I don't know, catching up on emails, because last week I was in Palm Springs. My son had a golf tournament and I went and watched him play for 3 days.
Fun.
And he's in college. And then I had a photo shoot with Bloomberg on Friday, and it was a very early call time. When it's 6 a.m. call time, an hour away.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I wake up at 4:30 and that's still early for me to I finally wake up by 6, but I got to get up at 4:30 to wake up by 6. You know what I mean?
Oh, believe me, it's the same with me, because my work, I can't just roll out of bed and throw on a baseball hat. I have to look relatively put together, because if I'm not, their client's going to go, how are you going to fix me when you can't even fix yourself? So So I have to wake up. I like that time in the morning to have my tea and my green juice and my water and take my vitamins and just wake up. I'm like, it just feels good. I don't like to rush out, and I like having that time. It just helps me kind of be a better version of myself.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like so many of us, especially people who are morning people, we need that time in the morning to kind of set up our day. Even if it's not scheduling, it's just kind of whether it's meditating, which I would love to be able to do, or, just kind of like breathing and like saying, okay, this is what I have to do today. I'm just like, this is how I'm going to get it all done. This is what I'm going to do in between. It's tough.
I think it's great to have goals for the day, but I'm also learning to just be a little gentler and kinder to myself. I do a lot, even though I don't think I do enough. And I just try to get as much done as I can and be okay with it by the end of the day, because tomorrow is another day and I'll get more done. And some days feel super productive. And then other days you feel like I'm doing a million things and nothing's getting done.
I
ever feel like
hear,
that?
yes, all the time. All the time.
Right?
Yes. And then people are like, you're the busiest person I know. And I'm like, but I didn't feel like I did anything.
I know. What does it mean when we do anything? Is it like, was it we didn't get enough accomplished, or there was more things on the list? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that we need to accomplish to feel like we accomplished something?
Exactly. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. You probably know better than I do. I mean, you're like superwoman over here. So
it's an illusion. I try to be, but I don't know if I'm succeeding. I don't know.
What did you do before you did makeup? Because you had a day job that you quit to do makeup, right?
I was an image consultant and a personal shopper. So it was all kind of insane. It was the same kind of thing of making people look and feel like the best versions of themselves. And then I started doing makeup. I didn't even think that was a job. I mean, I knew it was a job, but I didn't know how one did that to get paid. And then I started doing weddings and photo shoots. And then I miraculously got images together to get represented by an agent. And I got signed by Ford New York. They were first agents. And funny enough, I'm back with Ford, Miami, Chicago, New York, LA. And I'm also with Zenobia, and I'm also with Brandy Moore. So I have 3 agents. So,
wow.
Yes. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. And I check in with them and see, okay, what do we have this week? It's so funny. Some weeks that's super busy, and then other weeks it's kind of slow. So it works perfectly for me having this company and the new company, because I have something. There's always like plan A and plan B and plan C. There's always something that needs to be done. And then, the new thing, now that I started doing all these interviews on podcasts and TV, and now I have the NBC thing with California Live. That's another thing. And I love doing that. And I was terrified when that started. My friend Berlin Fisher asked me, he was the beauty expert, and then he became a host. And so he wanted me to start being a beauty expert. And I said, no, I can't do that. I'm a behind the scenes girl. I'm not in front of the camera girl. And he's like, this is the best advice I've gotten in a long time. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm like, ooh, that's big and brave. Okay, I'll try. And it's really given me a confidence that I didn't know I had inside, of being able to speak in front of a camera and not be trembling and stumbling over my words, and actually being excited to share knowledge that I have with others. So it's really become a fun thing that I surprisingly really am enjoying doing.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. I mean, I know, I've had business coaches, and I have a great one now, and all of them have always said, do something once a day or once a week, or, in my opinion, once a month, that scares the crap out of you, because it's true that that's how you grow. And you become a more confident version of yourself.
You're absolutely right. Growth comes from having to be in this uncomfortable place. And so now that I've learned that all those times that you and I are scared the crap out of each other, like we're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I just know at the end, I'm going to feel better about myself and, doing something else that's going to give me some confidence. So now I'm not so scared about those yucky, uncomfortable things that scare me to death, because I know that there's something fantastic at the other end. Once I get through that darkness, it's like, the light.
Yeah. And that's a good message to send out to the audience too, because it really is true. So before you started just kind of transitioning from a similar world into doing makeup at weddings and whatnot, you were doing makeup for friends and family, right? Like you would do your mom's makeup, right?
Yes, I would do my mom. She had stage 4 cancer, and she was going on a date with my dad. And so I thought, I'll fix you up, even though I had no idea what I was doing. And she didn't have that many makeup products, but I surprisingly managed with the few things she had and my very minimal skills to make her look and feel like herself. And that to this day, that's one of the things that I love so much about my job is meeting someone and turning them into a version they didn't even know existed. So that's super fun. And then, of course, working with my celebrities and my athletes and all the different people that I work with, it's just so fun to get alone time with them. It's like having my own talk show that I get them for the day and getting to know them on kind of an intimate level. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Now, then would you say that you see people's energy change when they've just gotten out of the makeup chair?
Yes, I think that one of the gifts that I have is being able to read someone very quickly and figure out kind of what I need to do to make them feel better, whether it be getting them a cup of tea, listening to them, or just not saying a word. Then I always get out my magic aromatherapy oils, usually lavender, and I will massage their hand. And that always kind of connects us. But then they're kind of mush in my hands because it feels so good to them. Then they're much more open to letting me, do their makeup. And then they're also just in a nice mood. So when they get in front of the camera, the camera doesn't lie and your eyes don't lie. So if you're happy, if you feel love, if, you're feeling something good, it's going to show. So if I can get my clients to feel like the best that they can feel, and then they get in front of the camera, it's only going to make my work look better.
Yeah. Now to the audience, this is not just for the girls, people. If you're a guy and you have to be on TV or in a photo shoot or something, you're wearing makeup. So do you see a change in the men too?
Oh my gosh, them the most. They're the most eager most of the men that I work with have had their makeup done many, many times, but sometimes I have some that haven't. And so if I start with their hands, massaging their hands, they're a lot more comfortable and they feel connected to me, and they just are just definitely easier to work with. And then my celebrities that I work with all the time, like first thing they say is, here you go. So my guys, I have Tyler Florence, I work with regularly for the last 16 years, Wells Adams, Ben Higgins from The Bachelor. So they're definitely all big hand massage fans.
Yeah. And then you've also worked with some incredible female celebrities too. I mean, like Hilary Swank, and one of my favorite people, the hilarious Melissa McCarthy. Yes. I mean, I could only imagine, being with her in person. She just sounds like a dream.
She's lovely. And she's a big fan of my lip gloss. And I actually...
As am I.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. I created a long time ago while she was pregnant with one of her kids, a cream called Yummy Mummy. And so I gave that to her and she loved that. So...
That's awesome. Yeah. Speaking of your lip gloss, which you can get on prettygirlmakeup.com, you can get a bundle of all of these different colors of lip gloss that they seem to all go with my skin tone. I've never had that happen before. I mean, you have like a Barbie doll pink color that even looks good on me. That never looks good on me. And
no, right?
Yeah. And the nice thing about your lip gloss too is that the way the applicator is, you can almost like line your lips with it and then fill it in. And you can build it so it could be light, or it could like be rich, like that dark maroon color that I love so much that I'm wearing right now. I kind of like,
oh my gosh, I'm going to have to hire you. You're going to be my girl.
I love it. No, it's great and it lasts. So I wanted to try it because I knew we'd be doing this show, but I actually really like it a lot. So
Thank you so much. And
yeah.
offering a 20% discount with Pretty Girl for your listeners if they go to makeup.
Amazing. You guys better go to Pretty Girl Makeup right now and get that bundle. Speaking of Pretty Girl, you've been self-funded. I mean, have you always been entrepreneurial and done things kind of on your own, or are you looking at getting investors? Like, what's next for Pretty Girl?
So yes, I have always been self-funded, and proudly, Pretty Girl has 0 debt. So that's really a great thing. I have always kind of been entrepreneurial-ish since I was young. I, started my little dog walking, cat feeding, house plant watching when I was young. And then I started an import-export business when I lived in Mexico. And so I can work really well with myself. I am very disciplined. I'm focused, and I love having the freedom, even though my sister is amazing and she's a very high level executive with Costco. And, I feel that she can't leave. If I say, hey, you want to go grab tea? She's like, I'm working. No. Mm-hmm. And if you call me right now and go, hey, let's go meet for tea, I'm like, okay, come on over. So I like having the freedom and the flexibility, even though I work a million hours, but it's kind of like I can take a little break when I want. I guess I've got some gypsy in me, and I like the freedom of being able to kind of work at my own schedule, except obviously if I'm on a shoot or, I have to clearly stay on that schedule. But I love having the flexibility. I got to watch my son golf for 3 days, even though I was emailing and doing Zooms and doing everything from the golf course. I just was so grateful that I was able to be there to not miss he's playing in college. So it's like a big deal. I would feel terrible missing those type of things because of my work.
So I guess next question, what's next for Pretty Girl Makeup, or are you going to focus more on your new company?
I am going, Pretty Girl is still there. But now I'm going to be putting a lot more focus onto I'm Too Busy, because we are getting funded. We have investors. So I'm very excited about that. My partner, Jordan, thank goodness, is in charge of putting business plans together and all the things that I had hesitated to do before, which was why it was easier in my mind to just be self-funded, because I thought, I don't know how to put a business plan together. I mean, it just seems so complicated, but that's one of the things I've learned. Ask for help. You can't do everything. And, it's better use of my time to be focused on my strengths. Obviously, I try the things that I'm not strong with, like business plans, I am learning, because you do need to know what's going on. You can't be totally have your head in the sand when you're as much as I trust my partner and know he's doing everything great, I still like to be aware. It would be really irresponsible and reckless of me not to know what's going on. So I have had to, again, be uncomfortable learning to read spreadsheets and focus on these numbers.
Yeah. And, I've always found that in the companies that I've worked at, or, the companies that do well that I've researched, that the CEOs who started out doing the busy work, the tough stuff, the stuff that usually gets delegated to somebody else, they're the best CEOs, right? Because they know every aspect of the business. So I think that's great that you're doing that. And, it's might not be the fun part, but it's so necessary to know every aspect of your business to really make it successful.
You're right. I think it does make me better, because I've done the sales of my company. I've done, the formulation, the marketing, I've done the everything. And so it does help me, but I also think it's super important to hire people that are really specialized. Like, I can't do TikTok. Okay. I just can't. I think my kids would, divorce me if I was on TikTok. So I have someone that does TikTok. I have someone that does the Instagram, the marketing. So and I also let the people that I hire do what they do. I'm not going to micromanage everything. I'll send them content and kind of a vibe that I want. But I also with even my assistant, Sophia and Maya, I ask them hey, what do you think of this? What is your thoughts? I like hearing other people's perspectives, because sometimes I'm so like in this tunnel of focus that I'm not seeing other things that other people see. So I don't want a bunch of yes people around me. I want a bunch of people that are going to say, hey, how about this? Or let's try something else. And I think that has really helped me to have a strong team. It makes them feel good, but it also gives me different perspectives to make different decisions that perhaps I wouldn't be making because I didn't see that angle.
I completely agree with you. And I handle my team the same way. And I actually love my interns every year because they teach me so much. These young kids who are not out of college yet teach me so much more than I could learn reading up on things. Or I mean, they just, and it's inspiring for me. So I think it's, I've worked in the past for people who don't want to hire people that are better than them or different from them because they're afraid. I think that fear stops you in your tracks and stops your growth, right? Allowing yourself to not be the best at everything and allowing other people on your team to be better than you at something or different than you at something, it really helps you grow. And I think that's like, taking the ego out of the equation is a huge factor.
I completely agree. And I just think like that is a job as a CEO to hire and my ego, I don't even care. Like I'm the first to admit, I have no idea and I'm wrong. And it's diffused if, something happens. But I think it's so great to get different, fresh perspectives. And I had a high school intern once for a semester, and she wanted to do the Instagram and the social media. That girl is now like head of my social media. And she's in college and it's her, and she is constantly putting fresh, great things out. And I don't say boo to her other than here's some content, do what I trust her. She has my eye. She knows how I think and how I want it. I don't have to, say anything. I mean, if I have an idea about something, I might share it with her, but I pretty much let her do what she wants. And my assistant, Sophia, we write a lot of magazine articles, and she knows I like to write the way I speak because there's nothing worse than reading an article that just feels so generic and not personal. And so I'll write something and then she'll edit it, or she'll write. She sent me something that she had written for me to add to. And I'm like, did I write that? Because I thought it was my writing because it was so it's so great when you get people that really get you and are open. And I think you're just getting better versions of everybody.
Absolutely. I completely agree. You've experienced some serious loss in your life, and you've powered through instead of, taking a position that so many people do. And you have gone and just, made something really special of yourself and, become such an amazing philanthropist as well. You've turned some hard times into doing good for others. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Yes. My son, Bo, passed away 16 years ago. And then my husband, Ken Flach, passed away. It'll be 5 years. Oh my gosh, next week. My mother passed away when I was young, and then my business partner passed away. So I have had a lot of loss. It is not easy, but I've also learned so much from these things happening. We sometimes feel like these things are happening to us, and sometimes they're happening for us. And I'm not insinuating that any of the deaths that have passed in my life or had benefited me at all, but steps, the choices that I made after these things happened. I started raising awareness for sepsis that my husband passed away from. I started 2 educational funds at the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California, for my son, Bo, and for Ken. My youngest son, Ben, who was Bo's twin, has been raising money for the last 7 years at a golf tournament. He's my son's a competitive golfer. He's one of the top golfers in the country and in his age group. And last October, he raised $60,000 for his twin and his daddy's educational funds. so he's raised over $150,000 in the last 7 years to help underprivileged children. And I am so proud of that. We started a garden at the Edna McGuire School in Mill Valley, named after my son, Bo. It's an outdoor classroom with a garden. And I am very passionate about nutrition and education, especially in children. And I think that if kids are exposed at a young age to planting seeds and harvesting and cooking and, doing science experiments with food, they're going to be much more inclined as they grow up to make wise, healthy, nutritional choices, which will lead to healthier adults. So I have tried. I just also know that my daughter had said to me once after Ken passed, Mom, you cannot be angry and bitter about, Ken dying. And I looked at her like, are you crazy? Like, of course I am. And she's like, no, you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful that you had someone at all who loved you so big. And you're not. And then I read something somewhere that really resonated with me that, we're not entitled just because we find someone that we love big, whether it's my mother, my son, my husband, my business partner. We're not entitled to a lifetime. We're entitled to whatever the universe decides we're entitled to. So that's why time to me is so precious, and spending time with the people that I love and really being grateful for everyone that's in my life that I love so much. That's, it's a better way to live, I think, coming from a sense of gratitude, because you're not bitter. It would be very easy for me to wallow away and be bitter and angry, but that's not going to be good for me. It's not going to be good for my children, people I do work with. And it's just not it's not honoring any of the people that aren't here anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
I think of it from that perspective. I think, how would I feel looking down on them or my kids or, my friends and family if I couldn't comfort them the way I normally did? And I just saw them as angry and bitter. That's not honoring them. The best thing I can do is love big, give back, and help the world be a better place in their memory. Of course, my husband would be, he was kind of Larry David, and he wanted, I should be miserable and, a grieving widow and love that. It would make him laugh, but now, but a little bit.
That's so funny, but you're absolutely right. And I agree. I think it's so important to honor those people that have passed that we love. It's such a better way to move on and to just keep their memory alive.
You're not living if you're just choosing to be miserable. Happiness is a choice. It's the same thing as choosing to be angry and miserable and, just grieving. It's not living. It's just an excuse to not try. And to me, failure is not trying. Right. It's just, if, something happens, it's not a failure if you're trying. It's a failure if you're not trying.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of living in happiness, you recently purchased a penthouse, right? A fabulous home. How did you find this home, and how has real estate, aside from the fact that it's a primitive need, shelter, played an important role in your life?
Well, I sold my home off market, which was fantastic for over asking and a lot more than I had ever anticipated. And so I needed somewhere to live. And I found this amazing, I'm sure my husband and my angels up there helped me find this place, because it is right on the water and it's bright and light and beautiful. And I'm so grateful to live here.
That's amazing. How do you always set up your environment in a similar way? Okay. Tell me about that.
I was trained by a stager that I had purchased. I had used about the last 3 houses that I bought and sold, and all the walls are white. All the furniture matches. So every room kind of has the same neutral tones. And so I just decorated my daughter's apartment down in San Diego, and one of my friends went there and she said, "Is your mom living here? Because this is so her vibe." So I definitely have a certain look. And I have a certain look with how I do makeup, but how I decorate houses as well. It's a certain look. So,
well, it sounds soothing, but it also, I mean, your whole kind of MO is making people feel the best versions of themselves. And when you use neutral colors in a home, you're really enhancing the best features of the home instead of taking away from them. So I can see why you would decorate your home like you would, put makeup on a person to enhance the best aspects.
It's really interesting. It is very similar. I use a lot of white. Like with my flowers, I will typically just have a lot of white, hence the ones behind. But but then I'll put a touch of color. Like during Christmas, I'll have like these beautiful red peonies that are like blood red or red roses. So there'll be hints of color, but the candles are all kind of white. Everything's white. But there's, I don't know. I like a house to feel warm and cozy. I like it. I like things very orderly and clean and organized because I feel that if my surroundings are a disaster, it feels chaotic to me. And I don't like that feeling. So I wake up every morning and my bed is made and, my house is in order because I just can't start my day when things are chaotic. And I think that's one of the things that helps me get a lot done when things feel orderly and, in place, then I'm not distracted by any of it. Like, oh gosh, I need to clean. I need to, whatever. It's like done. I don't even think about it. I just need to focus what's going on in here.
Yeah, I hear you 100%. I feel like I get the most done and I'm the most productive when everything is in order. My home is clean, my bed is made, and everything is just
right.
The dog's brushed.
I think that's part of our morning process to get I'm sure you're the same as I am. When I wake up, I do all that stuff. So I don't feel like, oh gosh, I need to get home and do all this stuff. But I have to say, this weekend, I was extremely exhausted. I had woken up 3 days in a row at like 4 a.m. and 4:30. And, one day was for a photo shoot. And then 2 days were to take my son to a golf tournament, my little one. And I have to tell you, on Saturday, I was so wiped out. Like, I don't do this, but I just laid around on Saturday and watched Netflix and kind of slept. And I never, ever do that. But I was listening to my body and I'm like, I'm just exhausted. I have nothing in me to do. I didn't even want to work out. And I worked out Sunday, but Saturday I was definitely a lump.
Well, sometimes you just need to recharge and you need to give that to yourself. You can be better the next day.
I was, thank goodness. And today I feel like I'm back to my normal self of, getting a lot done.
Well, you're great. You have so much energy. So I have a couple of questions for you. 5 questions. You get 2 passes. So you get to answer 3 of them.
What if I answer 5?
I would love it if you answer all 5 of them, but you only get 2 passes.
Okay.
So question number 1, what is your go-to color for every skin tone?
My go-to for
color for lip, what's your go-to color for every skin tone for lipstick, say?
Just a neutral, natural color. It's just kind of like a lip color, but maybe a smidge darker, just kind of a nude lip.
Okay.
On everybody.
What story do you tell most often?
What story? About
anything? Is there a story that you love to tell people that you meet, or a funny story that, comes up a lot?
I would probably talk about, let's see. I don't know. I would probably tell a funny story about one of my kids that make me laugh and that they tell me I'm extra and, I can't that I'm a spoiler. My kids are always telling me I can't do anything just basic. Everything is over the top. So that kind of makes me laugh when they tell me that.
That is funny. What's the strangest thing that's ever happened while doing makeup on set?
Oh, gosh. The strangest thing. There's just so much craziness, but okay, here's one. I was doing a TV show last year with Tyler Florence in LA for the Food Network, Great Food Truck Race. And one of the contestants was all mic'd up and threw a tantrum. We're down in Venice and Tyler and I were actually on our way home. And the producer called us and said that one of the contestants ran off out of the car down the road into the bathroom in Venice Beach. And if anyone knows Venice Beach, they know that bathroom, and sat in there and was crying hysterically.
Oh no.
And Tyler and I were like, oh, this is such good TV.
This was all on air.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. That's too funny. Do you consider yourself more cautious or more bold?
I'm definitely more bold.
Yeah. You give your opinion right away. Okay.
I'm pretty clear on things. I have I'm kind of black and white that way.
You know what you want, you go for it.
Yes.
It's a good quality to have as an entrepreneur.
Yes. I'm very determined. I'm focused, and in the end, I will get what I want one way or another. Yeah.
I love that. Is there anything you think people misunderstand about you?
That I'm an introvert. As outgoing as I seem, I'm a total homebody. My boyfriend and I are just kind of loners. We are home a lot. We watch tons of sports. We don't go out to a lot of events, and we just I like to be home, and I'm kind of quiet, and I'm a nerd. I like to read a lot. So I think people would be surprised of that.
There's nothing wrong with being a little bit nerdy. I'm a huge proponent of nerdiness. And it is so interesting to me that so many people that you would think are extroverted are truly introverted deep down inside, including myself. So I'm always so interested to hear that from somebody who's always got to be kind of on, So one more question from me before I go to questions from our audience. Okay. What does your skincare routine look like?
Okay. On every day, it's a lot of moisturizer, eye cream. In the morning, I'll wake up, splash my face, use my eye roller, the jade roller that I have in the freezer to depuff my eyes. And I will put on some apricot oil, a lot of sunscreen. I love different products. So yesterday, for example, on the weekend, I will give myself a big facial, which is Tatcha exfoliator, and then lots of vitamin C serums. And then I use those. My daughter Melania bought me this mask, this red light mask thing. So I'll do that. Then she bought me this one thing. So I'm doing that. I'm constantly trying to do anti-aging, to keep my skin looking as good as it can look. I'm not afraid to age, but I am, I go on TV and I go and do these podcasts. I have to kind of look as good as I can look, or who's going to listen to me giving my opinion on beauty when my skin is not looking fantastic. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, you look phenomenal.
And then at the end of the day, heavy cream at night. I think it's really important, making sure I take all the makeup off at the end of the day, and serums, Retin-A, and a lot of heavy moisturizer.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of slugging? It's that thing that everybody's all the influencers are talking about lately, or maybe it was just recently cool. I don't know. It's where they put Vaseline or Aquaphor all over their face for multiple days. But I feel like that would make you break out.
I kind of do that, but I don't think, it just, everyone's skin is different how they react to it. My skin's pretty durable. I can kind of do a lot to it. I totally agree. Heavy, putting on different layers and then leaving it in. So it's super important. I love coconut oil. Great for a magnitude of reasons of ingesting, putting it on. It's really great. Taking care of your hands, sunscreen on the hands. People forget that. Yeah. It's so interesting. When I was down in the desert, someone was saying that you can tell a woman's age, not by her face or neck, but by her hands.
Yes, I've heard that too. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, my hands look 85 today. I got to keep them in my pocket. You know what I mean?
I don't believe you.
No, but I've heard the same thing. So I'm so sensitive to it now. So yeah, I do. I put sunscreen on my hands too, but I'm going to start upping that. I think maybe I'm just going to wear zinc. Why not? Right?
Yeah, slather it. It's important. Yes.
It's totally important. Okay. So we have some questions from our audience. Samantha Weinstein asked, who is your inspiration?
Oh my gosh. Who is my inspiration? I have so many people that inspire me. I have people that inspire me in business, like Tyler Florence, and my kids inspire me, and different makeup artists. I mean, I get inspired by beautiful things in all different aspects of life, different influencers, different celebrities. Everything inspires me.
Karen Black asked, what's the best makeup for sensitive skin? What would be your recommendation?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Every skin is so different. I think you have to try, something that's clean, that's just has as few, ingredients as possible. Also, people forget this. Sometimes they think they're allergic to their makeup, but they're not washing their makeup brushes. And this is so.
Oh, yeah.
You might be breaking out, and it's not from the product. It might be from your sponge that you're using or your makeup brushes. The makeup brushes absolutely have to be washed at least once a week. You can do that with a makeup wipe for the ones that you're putting on your foundation, making sure your hands are clean if you're putting it on with your hands. But the makeup brushes, I soak them in, warm water. I will use shampoo and conditioner, and I treat them like hair. They need to be washed. I think that might be the problem. And there's so many bacteria that just lay in our makeup brushes. Mascara, for example, I swap that out every 2 to 3 months because it kind of starts drying out.
Yeah.
So you don't need to get an expensive one. You just need to get a new one. But I would just try cleaning the makeup brushes. I also feel like we haven't spoken about this, but this is a big one for me, beauty from the inside out. And obviously it's meditation and sleep, because sleep is the greatest beauty tool we have, and it's free.
Yeah.
The green juice, the celery juice, it really matters what you ingest. And I can tell you, by working with so many different actors, models, everyday people, the people that have issues with their skin, sometimes it's hormonal, sometimes evening primrose oil. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like an omega oil that helps balance out hormones. So a lot of times your hormones might be off. So I try to do things holistically, with the omega oils, with the, evening primrose oil. And then I also feel like, first thing in the morning, water with a squeezed in lemon or Bragg's apple cider vinegar, that really helps keep our skin clean. Drinking enough water. I can't urge this enough. We need so much more water than we think.
Yeah.
We also need to add, and this is something new I've learned. I was telling someone, I drink so much water. Like, I don't get it. Like, how am I dehydrated? And she said, well, you need to add, I do, this is like how I do my favorite water. I get at Trader Joe's, they've got these packets of dehydrated ginger, and I pack it in this water bottle. I will put some malic acid, just like a 1/4 teaspoon in that. I will put some tea into it, and then a pinch of sea salt. We need that little bit of salt to actually really absorb the water.
Yeah.
So that's something that's super important. So I think a combination of cleaning your makeup brushes, drinking enough water, the celery juice, that takes away swelling and inflammation. So I add that to I use a blender to make my smoothie every day. And it's, let's see, grapefruit juice, power greens, green apple, blueberries, fresh ginger, and probably 4 stalks of celery.
How do you have time to make your own fresh smoothie?
I make enough for 2 days. I make a whole Vitamix filled of green juice. And then this is another thing I started doing, getting mason jars, like a case of mason jars, and I fill up my green juice in that, and I will give it to my kids, to my boyfriend, to me. I give everyone, I'm like, oh, you're going out the door, take a green juice.
Yeah. Right. I just stop at the health food store after my workout and get celery juice with a little bit of apple and ginger in it. And I have a blender, but for me to take a bunch of stalks of celery and do all that, maybe I'm just not.
It honestly, if you just have everything that you need, take that long. I have frozen organic blueberries from Trader Joe's. I get the ginger cubes at Trader Joe's. I should really be sponsored by Trader Joe's. I'm constantly get some, and then I will get like, the power greens at my local market. I like to, obviously shop locally, and I just it doesn't take long because it's a blender. You just plop, I cut up the celery like in 4 pieces, throw it all in, and the Vitamix obliterates it. The green apple is good for you. Doesn't have a lot of sugar. And you just, it takes time. Yes, it does take a minute to make. What does it take me? 5 minutes to make the juice. It's not that long. It sounds worse than it is, but it does make a difference in how I look and how I feel. And when I'm on set, you have to remember, I work with chefs. Like Tyler's my main client. So I'm around all his yummy, yummy food, but the craft service table, I don't go near that thing. That's that's the table of heroin and crack. Like I don't, if I touch it, I start eating those cookies. Oh goodness, it's over. I'm going to eat the whole bag. I bring my food. I will bring the green juice. I'll bring the water. I bring tea. I bring raw almonds, yogurt. You'll eat well if you have it in front of you.
That's true.
You'll eat clean if it's sitting there. If it's not, then it's like, oh, I'll eat that sandwich with cheese and carbs and all that other stuff.
Totally. Totally.
I also, when I travel, and this is something that I've got, I had a really interesting conversation with one of the bachelors, Clayton Eckert. He was saying like, he's incredibly fit. And he was saying like, oh, I've been traveling so much. Like I can't, I'm not working out. I'm not eating well. I'm like, why? What's the difference? What is the difference if you're home or out, out traveling? There's no difference. To me, it's actually easier to be more disciplined when I'm away because I don't have any kids. I don't have anyone at home. All I have to do is work out, eat well, and take care of my client. So there's no excuse because you're traveling that you can eat poorly. I
agree.
It's a choice. So I don't even want to hear like, oh, well, I'm traveling. So what? Go work out.
Yeah. A lot of hotels have beautiful gyms. And if you take a run or a walk, you get to explore a new place.
Exactly. And here's another thing that I learned besides, like, I'll just go get up, even if I have put this rule on myself. I don't care how long I work out, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour. As long as I get to the gym, I that guilt thing that oh God, I got to work out. I got to work out. It's not there anymore. So that no matter what I do, I'm happy with that. And then number 2, every city, for example, when we were shooting the show in LA last year, we were in a new city, every day or 2 days. So there's different yoga studios or Pilates studios that you can buy a week's pass for like $20 and go to yoga twice a day. So I did that. So there are so many, if you think for a second and want to do it bad enough, you don't have to go sit in bed and order Domino's and watch Netflix.
Absolutely not.
Get a choice.
I agree with you. Okay. So one last question from our audience. Kim Heiligman Kelly asked, how often should you wash fine hair and what are the best styles for fine hair?
Okay. This is a good question. So I wash my hair once a week.
Wow.
Yeah. I have extensions. My hair is this long, but it's not this thick. I have fine hair too. So I don't wash my hair more than once a week. And really, I also drink collagen. I put collagen peptides in my tea every day. I take a multivitamin. I think for fine hair, keeping it as short as you can, and it'll give the illusion of looking fuller, but it's not, it's not, the longer it gets when it's fine, it just looks thinner and limper. And it's just not, I always say that don't fight with hair because you'll lose. Hair is gonna do what hair is going to do. So I try to, if I have curly hair client or someone that the hair doesn't want to curl, I will do something that it will look at like its best version without fighting it, because hair is just always wins.
Yeah. Yeah, I can second that. I fight with mine all the time, and mine is fine, but I have a lot of it.
Yes, that's how I have. I have a lot of fine hair. So when I had shorter hair, I kept it shorter because it just looked better. And
Well, I appreciate your time, and I'm sure my audience is really happy that that you answered their questions and that they got to hear from you. I appreciate you so much, and
I appreciate you for having me on your show. It's been
thank
you and
you.
I've been trying to chat for so long. We
I
had
know.
so many times that we weren't able to. So I was really grateful and excited to chat with you today. And hopefully I can see you when I go to New York.
I hope so too. Yes, you have my number. Let's get together.
We're gonna go get a green juice.
We will, absolutely. Yeah, so I really appreciate you. We'll put your websites and your social media handles and all of the information for your philanthropies in our show notes so that people can go and check them out, as well as get that Pretty Girl Makeup Lip Gloss bundle. Yeah, it was really, really wonderful to speak with you. And I can't wait to hopefully meet you in person.
I as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you for watching and listening to Kelly Minds Her Manners. Make sure to subscribe to the show and don't forget to leave us a review to tell us what you liked about the episode. You can connect with Kelly at Kelly Minds Her Manners on Instagram and TikTok or on our website, www.kellymindshermanners.com.